Pilates workout 1, starting with the roll down. So you're going to have the band around your feet and you're going to breathe out, curl through the spine and roll down about halfway. Take a little breath and breathe out to roll back up again and then stack your spine. So I'm going to do about 5 of each thing. So breathing out to roll down, taking a little breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, making sure your core is switched on, pelvic floor and inner thighs activating, lengthening away, and coming back up. And I think Andrew's got one more to do. And then keep with this level if this is enough for you, if you're already shaking when you get to that bottom point of the exercise. Otherwise you can take it further. So on the out breath again, curving through the spine, keeping the shoulders down, making sure that rectangle of your torso isn't distorted, taking a breath, rolling back up, using the band to help you but not lifting the shoulders. So this is your level 2, slowly through the difficult parts so that you're gaining strength. And slowly coming back up, great. And as I say, about 5 of each. So this is level 2, so you're going to stay with the level 2 or move on to level 3, which is not going to use the band. Or indeed stay with level 1. So for the next level, you're going to be swapping out the band for the little ½ kilo arm weights. Good. And you're going to work with the same position, still with bent legs slightly, reaching forwards with the arms and using them as a kind of brake to help control you on the way down. Take a breath at the bottom and curl to come back up. Good. You can see it's a little bit harder. Try not to use momentum, so try not to start to fling yourself up. If you're really trying to get some speed to get yourself up, or you're dropping on the way down, then you're on a slightly too difficult level for you, and you should probably just drop back 1 level. Okay, so we've got 2 more, I think. And on the last one, Andrea's going to stay down, ready for the next. Good. And she's going to plant the weights by her side, using a heaviness through the chest and rooting down through the back of the arms and using the weights to help plant the shoulders. And she's going to breathe out and lift 1 leg, and then she's going to swap that for the other leg. Good. And she's going to breathe out each time she does a little swap. And this is your level 1, and we're calling this one leg lifts. So level 1 of your leg lifts. And then we're going to move on to level 2. And level 2 is going to be both legs. So she's going to lift both and lower on an out breath, barely touching, and back up again, almost like a little bounce. Keeping that rectangle really stable, not allowing the back to curve or bend up and away from the mat. So really using the core to stabilize the spine and support the movement of the legs. Good. Just a couple more. Good. And the feet are going to rest down. And the arms are going to come up and reach for the sky. And then this is hundreds prep. Andrea's going to breathe out, curl up the head and shoulders and reach forwards with the weights. And she's going to breathe in and go back down. She's going to breathe out, curl forwards, keeping the shoulders on the back, activating the core. And this is your level 1 version of your hundreds prep. And she's got 1 or 2 more anyway, she'll continue. And the legs are going to come up to tabletop for level 2. So you either stay with level 1 or you're going to lift the legs to tabletop and continue with the same. Breathing out, activating your core, gluing the legs together, squeezing the inner thighs, making sure your pelvic floor is switched on, really helps support your core. And for our next level, for level 3, we're actually just going to stay in this up position and just breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, keeping at least 10% of your core switched on your in-breath, and increasing that to 30% of your core, including pelvic floor and inner thighs, as you breathe out. And you're going to stay for 5 slow breaths, so it's probably a couple more breaths to do. And coming down to go into position to start the bridge. So the hands again are going to be planted by your sides to help plant the shoulders into their supporting system of muscles, and breathing out, pressing into the feet, curling all the way up into a ski slope type bridge, taking a breath and peeling all the way back down again. So out breath to go up. Good. In breath at the top, and out breath to come back down. So we're squeezing the inner thighs together, lifting the pelvic floor, pressing down through the feet, breathing in, and then rolling down bone by bone. Level 2, the arms are going to reach up to the ceiling with the weights, shoulders are staying on the back, and breathing out to come up. So we'll be doing more levels of this particular exercise in the next few workouts, but this is your levels 1 and 2 at the moment. Really strengthening for the spine and also creating space around the vertebrae, creating space around the discs, elongating the spine. Good. Opening the arms to the side, ready for spine twist. Good. Allowing those weights to help you open your shoulders. Try and keep the head and shoulders anchored as you breathe out and take the knees over to one side. And let's have just in-breath to come back to the middle. So you don't want to be swinging your legs from side to side, you really want to be controlling it. And you're creating a little bit of your own resistance. That's really important in Pilates, that we sometimes load the muscles more. So we're intentionally using more resistance than we really need to move the legs, so that the core has to work a little bit harder. So heavy legs, efforting through your core to pull the legs back to center. Maybe just one more to each side. This is your level 1. If this feels really good for your spine, keep going with this level. If you know that your core isn't very strong, keep going with this level. Level 2, the legs are going to be lifted up and straight, and the feet are going to be flexed. You can work with very slight bend through the knees if you need to. You're going to this time breathe in to go a little bit over. The shoulders, neck and head are not lifting off of the mat. That's right. Breathing in, tick-tock, we call this one. So this is a little variation on tick-tock, level 2 of your spine twist. Much more challenging, using the obliques quite a lot. One more to each side. Good. And then bringing the legs down. And we're going into single leg circles, small. So one leg's going up to the ceiling. The arms can come back to your side and help to anchor you. And the other leg staying bent on the floor and drawing small circles. Try not to disturb that rectangle. Yep, try to keep your frame, the torso, the box of the torso nice and even and stable as you circle with that leg, let's say 5 or 6 times in each direction. And then we're going to go straight onto level 2, which is straightening out the underneath leg. Good. And doing slightly bigger circles, same challenges. Try not to let the hips and the back sway around, but a nice big full circle if you can. And each direction. And you're doing a whole breath, and in and out on each circle. Yeah, good. That's lovely. And then we're changing to the other side, and we're doing the version with the underneath leg bent first and the smaller circles. Tuning into what your shoulders are doing, trying to relax through the head and the throat and the face, keeping it nice and calm and easy. Good, so you have 5 or 6 circles in each direction before you go on to your level 2. And straighten the underneath leg. Make sure those shoulders are anchored down, that your heart is heavy, that it's sinking back into the mat. That helps you to keep a nice open chest and a feeling of weight down through the upper torso. Good. Nice activation through that leg that's left behind. Doing your best not to let it move around too much. And as we said before, keeping the box of your torso nice and stable. Okay, from here we've got a really nice transition. Andrew's going to leave her weights behind for the moment. She's going to wrap her arms around her knees, her shins. She's going to push the shins into the hands and the hands into the shins, and she's going to roll like a ball. Breathing out, she's going to roll down again and back up. And she's going to try and catch her balance. Great, just a couple more. Rolling through the spine. Now the important thing here is not to roll onto your neck or your head. You just want to roll onto your upper back, onto your shoulder area. That's lovely. And then hold a little balance. Great. And we're going from this into our spine twists with bent legs. Good. And Andrew's going to take the band. So fix it around your back, under your shoulders. Reach out with the arms. And that's going to give you a nice sense of how we want to move the upper torso and open the shoulders. So she's going to do 3 pulses, breathing in, and out back to center. And in on the twist and out back to center. Great. This is your level 1. And back to center. Good, so what are we looking for? We're looking for equal weight through both sit bones. We're looking for the legs not to be moving as the torso twists. And we're looking for the whole of the upper body to turn, not just the shoulders, neck and head. And we're trying not to overturn the head. We're trying to just keep it in the center and let it go around with the torso. So we're twisting from underneath the ribs. Good. And the next phase is to do the same thing with straight legs if you can. This can be really tricky if you've got tight hamstrings, but really good for you, strengthening for your back extensors, those muscles that help to keep you in good posture, sitting really tall and not curving forward through the upper back. Good. And really working not to shift through the legs, gluing the inner thighs together, lifting up through the pelvic floor to help give you a bit more height. Good, maybe one more to each side, and then we're going to go into our saw. So for the saw, the hands are going to go behind your head, the legs are going to be bent, and they're going to be open. And you're going to start with a twist and dip, and this is 3 little out breaths. Good. And so percussive little out breath. So we're just squeezing the abs as we squeeze the breath out. Again, we're trying not to move through the hips, and the telltale for that will be that if your legs start moving, then you know you're moving through the hips. Good, we're trying to keep those knees up to the ceiling. And here we go. Good, one more each side, and then we're going to go on to level 2. See how Andrea's getting a little bit further now, because the more you do it, the further you're able to go quite often. And then with straight legs, or almost straight legs. And if this is really tough on your lower back because of your hamstring length, you either want to sit on a little yoga block for these things with straight legs, or just slightly bend the legs, but still have some energy going out through the heels. So you've got activation through the legs. So although we don't want to use undue tension, there shouldn't be a part of the body that's just having a little holiday while we do the exercises. So if your feet are just, flopping at the ends of your legs, not good. They need to have a definite position, either flexed or pointed, lengthened. And likewise, the whole leg should feel alive and it's kind of pressing down into the floor to help you get that upright energy. Good. And the last one, and Andrea will need to gather up her band and take her weights out of the way, is going to be the mermaid. Lovely little exercise, the mermaid, and she appears in all sorts of different guises in the studio. So we're using what we call the Cleopatra legs, which is one leg stacked on top of the other one. And we're going to first just do an arm movement. So this is great for the shoulder. Quite challenging, it looks really simple, but if you keep everything in good alignment, you don't allow your torso to crumple. Nice straight arm lifting and lowering, and of course it depends on the thickness, the heaviness of the band, how much this is going to impact you as a strengthening exercise. And this is level 2 Andrea's going into now, but just look more towards us a little bit, Andrea, that's lovely. Good. Yeah, and that's a good cue actually, because if you keep looking forwards, then you'll stay in more of a straight line, a flat line, as if you're between two pieces of glass when you're going over, rather than tipping forwards or tipping back. So we've gone from a lengthening, almost as like a fascia stretch plus a bit of strengthening, into a lovely lateral flexion for the body. Good. And everybody can probably do both of these levels. Right. And then changing sides. She's sitting on the band. You can see her get herself ready. So you're sitting on the band, stacking the legs up on top of each other. The hand on the floor is just slightly in front of the hip. Good. That's it. And a nice big waving movement through that arm. She's checking that the shoulder of the arm that's supporting her isn't rolling up and forward. She's still, even in this position, thinking about that box shape through the torso. So in whatever position we're in, we're as equal and even as possible through the torso. And that the torso isn't moving around too much in relation to, say, the movement of the arm in this instance. Okay, and over she goes. Great. She's got her. That's it, Andrea. Lovely. Great. And we're going to build on all of these and add more new stuff each time through each of our little workouts. So we'll see you for the next one.